Let's do it, bro. So yeah, dude, what I wanted to get your sort of thoughts, your interpretation of is this notion that the faster you lose weight, the faster you regain it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we both know that if you do it properly, it works. Of course, if you have somebody that has zero habits in place, zero experience of losing fat that fast, and then most people lose fat and then get to a position and go, what do I do now? So first thing they do is, well, I need to go back to normal. And normal to them is going to be what put them in the position that they need to diet in the first place. So I almost like say like, which is why like yourself as well, we use photo shoots and things as well as like deadlines and time sensitive pressures for people to push to get to. But I think once you kind of get to the end of the diet, the shackles come off in a way. So
Mhm.
do you know what I mean? Like you don't have that reason, that intrinsic reason to go, well, I need to say no to this, or I need to put it back, or sacrifice something. So you become a bit more yesy, which is normal, of course, because that's what you want to bring back in, isn't it? That normality
Mhm.
and balance. But I think people just have no balance. They just go straight back into saying, yeah, I'll have the takeaway. Yeah, I'll have extra food. I'll have this nibble. And that's what stack up back over time. So losing the weight fast and then holding there and coming back up slowly, which is obviously the main goal, can only be done if you learn during the diet all of the habits that you need to diet well, but also then how to control and basically keep everything the same that you were doing in the diet, but with just a little bit more food and a bit more flexibility. But I don't agree with the fact that if you lose it fast, you'll regain it fast, because that's not the case if it's done properly with an actual plan and accountability and structure.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like, I think really it almost has no relevance. It's literally it's what happens after. Like you said something before we were recording that it's like dieting shouldn't be sustainable. You know, it shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to diet forever, and you shouldn't want to either. It's all about coming out the other end with, right, maintaining the same habits where you're still eating a good amount of protein, you're still, you know, aware of the calorie content of the food you're eating. Because you can even do that. I mean, I think people should track for a good period afterwards anyway, but you can do it visually. It doesn't take a fucking genius to say pizza, salad. More likely to get fat if I eat the pizza than if I eat the salad, right? But it's also looking at, like you say, the behaviors around, right? How they respond to certain things, like how they act at social occasions, how they act when they're stressed, and all of these things. Because so many people, I think, when they diet, they just put a plaster on these things and they ignore them. Like normally they will stress eat. They'll get home from work on a Friday night after work and be like, right, I'm going to nail a takeaway, nail a bottle of wine or whatever. They'll just stop doing that for a duration of the diet, but they won't actually understand why they were doing it in the first place. So when they're done dieting, they're like, oh, I'm going to start doing that again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, that 3,500 calories to gain a pound of body fat comes very, very quickly. Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of people as well don't have well, they don't hold themselves to a good standard. A lot of people. I think this is one of the big things that I talk to my clients about is like setting good standards and high standards for themselves. Even I think especially during maintenance periods, because I think even that's probably harder than anything.
Yeah.
When you kind of just floating through life and staying in some form of good shape, I think that takes a lot more skill and effort than dieting hard or trying to build muscle. Although both those are difficult in their own rights, maintaining it is difficult as well. So standards is definitely one big thing, but also having some systems in place that you're never going to be motivated all the time. You're never going to be disciplined all the time. But again, then you're falling back on your high standards and your systems in place. So with systems, I mean like your meal timings, your food choices, your training times. Those are the kind of things that you're just setting in stone that just become non-negotiable for your life that you're working in. And I think if those things have not been set in place, which they should have been during the diet, because those are the things that are almost you're going to be ticking off your steps, you're going to be ticking off training, you're going to be ticking off your food prep. All these things are done because you're driving towards that fat loss goal. And as soon as it's taken away, if you don't have any of those in place, those habits, behaviors, systems, standards, like you said, it's so easy to go, yeah, let's have that pizza on top of all the other food that you've just had, without having the kind of the thought process of going, actually, I do need to pull back in the week a little bit to make a bit of room for this. Like, it's just having that self-awareness and discipline to do that as well. Again, that's where a coach can come in very handy, because the accountability and support there. But if you are solo, if you don't have those in place, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like maintenance, it's the most boring place to be, right? Because it's like when you're losing body fat, you see those numbers coming down, you see yourself getting leaner. And when you're, in a gain and you're seeing like strength come up that bit quicker, it feels a lot more purposeful. Whereas maintenance feels like, well, I'm sitting still, I'm maintaining. So people do, like you say, they drop all the standards that they've had, they get really lax with it. And their idea of maintenance becomes, well, I was good Monday through to Friday, and now Saturday, Sunday, I relaxed a little bit. And it's like, yeah, but you consumed an extra 4,000 calories just over the weekend. So your being good has led to you gaining a pound of body fat in a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then down the road, they're going to find themselves probably like 6, 7 kilos heavier, and they're going to have to diet again. And this is where people go around this circle of never improving their physique, because they're more or less consistently always dieting. Because they'll go diet down to this place that they feel really happy. And we know as humans, as soon as you feel comfortable, your foot comes off the gas because you're comfortable. And you don't want to feel shit. So when you don't feel shit, oh, let's do more stuff. This feels great. But then again, like you say, the weekends stack up over time. They find themselves, oh, I'm getting a bit soft and I don't like what I'm seeing here. I'm going to have to diet again. So they diet back down to this point again. And then the same thing happens over again. So we're never actually getting into what me and you encourage our clients to do for the majority of the year, is get lean, and then we spend a lot of time building muscle, more food, getting stronger, actually changing our physique. So the next time you do diet down, you're going to look better in whatever area you've improved on. So I think it's a big thing that people do start to find out how to learn to stop this rebounding kind of mentality. But it doesn't come from losing the weight fast. It comes from not having everything that we spoke about previously in place.
Totally. The thing is, literally, as you said there, if you're always dieting and just gaining body fat, you're never going to look any different, really. You're just going to stay bouncing between unhappy, oh, I'm happy because I'm lean again, right, let's go back to normal, and then just constantly staying stuck there. And really, you should be able to maintain weight on a really good amount of food. And if you do things properly, where, you maintain those habits, you bring things up slowly, or you go, like, I would generally put clients straight to a perceived maintenance right after dieting, so they get a lot more food straight away, but then making sort of slow adjustments from there. If you do things like that, as a guy, you can comfortably maintain on, like, if you've got a reasonable activity, like around, unless you're small, obviously, like around 3,000 calories, give or take. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and that's where a lot of people that have never done it before can't understand, like, how's he eating that much food? Well, he's dieted down, he's done it properly, he's come all the way down, his body fat's low, his body is prime to have more food, and the next, he's 1,000 calories higher, and he's getting stronger, he looks more muscular, but he's still lean, and he's got no food focus, no hunger, he's got a lot of freedom as well. It's a fantastic place to be in. So would it not make sense to get lean first, learn all the habits in place, and then that flexibility and sustainability can come afterwards? Because obviously it has to be sustainable at some point, because otherwise you're just going to go back and forth like we were. But the diet itself, no fucker wants to diet for 6 months to 8 months and lose 2, 3 kilos. Like, that's not why people diet. They diet because they feel like shit right now and they want to feel better tomorrow. So let's get it done, and then we can go and give you some more freedom and more food whilst looking better.
Yeah, mate, 100%. Like, I look at even myself with dieting, I don't want to fuck around and diet. I want to get it done as quickly as possible. Right now, for me, I would diet myself a lot more aggressive than I would diet most clients because I'm like, right, I've got the skills and whatever.
Yeah.
For me, I could put food really, really low just to get it done as quickly as possible. But I look at it with clients and it's still applicable and go, we don't need to lose half a pound every single week. We can move this up that bit quicker so that you can then finish this bit that's really fucking boring and annoying,
Yeah.
and then start going into actually performing at a much, much higher level, and your life's going to be way better immediately. You touched on something there that was really interesting around food focus. I think this is what trips a lot of people up is, when you first finish a diet and then you add more food, right? You're still just as hungry, if not hungrier, than
Worse.
when you were dieting.
Yeah.
And you've all of a sudden you've got this bit of additional flexibility and you're like, right, well, I'm not dieting anymore. I've got a lot of food focus. Let's go and have some fun. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
no, this is why you're rebounding, because you're not playing a game. You need to appreciate that the diet after the diet is actually harder than the diet itself, right? So you need to come out of it maintaining those same skills where you're eating, a good amount of food volume,
Yeah.
right? Where you are still hitting your protein, you're prioritizing your meal timings, these simple things that you don't think necessarily matter, but they do. If you start eating at random times across the day, it's no wonder that you're hungry at weird times, right? And looking at this and going, nah, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to sack everything off. Like the thing for me is like the issue is never anything to do with like as long as you've done the diet properly, it's never anything to do with speed. It's all skills related,
Yeah.
skills, behaviors, like I say, standards. Do you, with your clients, use anything specific with them when it comes to like a systematic approach when it comes to like maintaining their habits?
Again, everyone's slightly different in terms of how they come out the back of a diet and that like their food focus and their experience as well. But the biggest thing is like it's to keep them kind of eating the same foods that they were eating for the diet, but more of it. Yes, there is some flexibility in there, of course, that we can save for some meals out or um maybe some of them I won't pull the food up all the way to maintenance, it'd be slightly below, and then we can give them like a an untracked day or something like that, or meal out, whatever that is. Again, client by client depends, but usually it's literally let's get the fit, let's try and put them into potentially someone that gets really hungry, usually like a bigger guy that I've dieted down, a lot of muscle. Um, I'll put them into a small surplus, maybe a week, just to really try and take the edge off the hunger as much as I possibly can without undoing too much work, and then pull back a little bit after that. But the biggest thing will be, like you said before, is just trying to keep everything that we were doing in the diet going, but we just have more of it, which is the whole point. And then after maybe 3, 4 weeks, physiologically everything's settled down a little bit more. Food focus has gone away because we've had a couple of little nice things within there. Then we can start to look at bringing food back up and or pulling back depending on what the next goal is.
It is all about that, yeah, giving you more flexibility, but controlled
Mhm.
flexibility, isn't it? Because it's so easy to go, right, I've got all this flexibility now and just take the fucking piss. Whereas when you can go systematically, right, we're going to give you X meal untracked, or I want you to have this amount of calories throughout your day of the normal food that you would eat, and then give yourself 200 calories that are a bit more flexible so that they sort of tickle their taste buds with that. They take the edge off, but they're still satiated from the food that they're actually eating. And, it's interesting what you said when you say we might do like keep someone in a slight deficit and then give them like an untracked day. I was chatting to Paul the other day and he said he sees maintenance as a surplus for people because of how they act
Yeah,
on the weekend. So looking at
exactly.
things like that is, it's a really
Yeah,
intelligent way of doing things
yeah.
because
We
across
normally
the
like
week, still maintenance.
exactly, and like especially like let's use Christmas like December as a good example. Most people will have. I think people think like December is this like this month where everybody stuffs their face every day. Like
Yeah.
most of the month is exactly the same in terms of you're still working up until what, like the 22nd of December or whatever it is, most people. But yes, there's a couple more socials, a few nights out and a few family get-togethers and stuff. So it makes sense for some of the guys to have who maybe aren't dieting because they don't want to diet through December, just to have a little bit less because they know that on the days that they're gonna go a little bit wilder than normal, which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what we expect at Christmas and socials and stuff. To just go and eat and drink 'cause it's life and it's fun. But you have to be an adult and understand where we need to pull back a little bit so you don't go into January going, fuck, I've got 4 kilos now on top and I still need to do a diet because I'm still not where I want to be. So now I've got extra work. So I've got another, what, 8 weeks of dieting added on now? So it's just understanding that we just need to pull back a little bit in certain areas to be able to give you a bit more flexibility because most people will always have more than they say.
The way that I see this is what you take, you must also give, right? You can't expect to go on a December long bender, eat like a gluttonous pig the whole month, drink like an 18-year-old, and have no repercussions of that, right? It's just playing the game and going, right, there are going to be times when I overindulge a little bit, right? So I'm just going to balance that out by having some slightly lower days. And it's literally that simple. Like, so I'm going to Lisbon tomorrow for a week. Then it's like Christmas from mum's birthday, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. I'll literally look at this and go, right, there's going to be a few days where I have heavier days. And on my lower days, I'm not going to track per se. I'm just not going to eat heavily. I'm going to go, right, let's pick some higher volume options, higher in
Yeah.
protein, maybe delay my first meal a little bit. And then naturally, the calorie content on the lower days is a little bit lower than it would be like a regular day so that I've got room for these higher days. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's having that self-awareness though, Connor, I think as well. Like you understand I'm going to be eating a shitload on that day. So is that going to make me put some weight on? Well, if you don't change anything, yeah, it will. It does my head in when people say like, oh, what 1 or 2 bad days can't like won't be fat. You know, it's just water weight. Well, I'm not sure about that. To be fair, mate, depends how big you did go. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there's going to be water weight on the scale, but if you use that as an excuse every time just to go, oh well, 1 or 2 days won't hurt, you kind of doing yourself over there because it can be deadly. It can be.
100%. It's like, yeah, some of it, if you go for one regular meal out, yeah, likely most of it is just water,
Hmm.
glycogen, whatever. But people don't just have a regular meal, right? I've literally had a client go away on holiday for 1 week, 7 kilos. And then it was like, this ain't water weight, is it?
Mate, that's
Yeah. I
that's
was
a good
like,
effort.
bro, what the fuck did you eat? And it
Yeah,
was a case of all you can eat, like buffet, super bock. So getting the pints in, lunch, whatever we fancied, and then going big for dinner. And it's like when you eat out as well, why do the meals taste so much better? Oil,
yeah.
butter,
Salt.
sauce, cream, salt. So it's like going somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not the calories don't not matter because it's December or you're on holiday or whatever. They do still matter. They are still there. So just play it a little bit smart so that you're not going to rebound like an absolute fucker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, mate, yeah. Like, I mean, like you could say to like, you go away for like 2 weeks. I always say if it took you about a week to kind of get back down to base pre-holiday weight, you've done a pretty good job there. Do you know what I mean? Any longer than that, you've kind of overstepped the boundary a little bit more, and you've got a little bit of body fat to get off. So I kind of use that as a good example of like 2 weeks holiday, 1 week to get the weight back down to what it was before holiday. It's a pretty good margin. Do you know what I mean? To go with things. But if you're going to couple overeating with not moving much as well, it's a recipe for disaster. Um, and you're going to get the people that say, "Oh, just live a little" and stuff like that. But that's absolutely okay. They can go and do whatever they want. But if you care about your physique and you want to enjoy yourself with that balance of not come back and fuck things up and have a lot more work to do afterwards, you do have to take a bit of responsibility and be a little bit of an adult at times and go, I need to have a little bit less, or I actually need to get off my ass and actually move, which is sometimes could be the case is hard.
Do you know what? I've got to these people that say live a little, I've got such a different opinion because you know when like you've gone to like an all you can eat thing and you've ate too much, right? You feel like shit afterwards, don't you? Right? You
So
feel
bad.
bloated, sluggish, and you're like, fuck, I can't wait for tomorrow so that I don't feel like this.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's nice to be able to eat different food at Christmas, to drink like we were saying, drink some Disaronno, have some Baileys, relax, take your foot off the accelerator, but you don't want to feel like a water buffalo for a month and then go, shit, I've gained all this. It's nice for
yeah,
me anyway to still go, I'm still going to train, I'm still going to stay active. Most of the time, I'm going to eat good quality food, but I'm also going to eat some cheesecake, going to drink a bit more alcohol. I'm going to raid the celebrations tub a little bit, but I'm gonna maintain because I keep my standards outside of this thing. Do you know what I
exactly.
mean? And you feel so much better for doing it.
That's it. It's like it's live a little to me as well is yeah, exactly. Eat the foods that I like to eat, like chips and curry sauce from the Chinese, like
Very
absolutely
good.
ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Mint sauce and gravy, the best combo going. Yeah. White Toblerone. I still eat foods that people would class as like living a little. But for me, living a little is that balance of doing that, but also feeling fucking good in myself every day. Yeah, of course, everybody eats a bit too much food sometimes and they like get a meat sweat and they got the belt coming off or whatever. You're like, oh, great, every now and then. But then the next thing about living little as well is I want to feel good in my skin, how I feel in myself as well, energy wise, all these kind of things in my appearance, but balancing it out with actually enjoying some of the foods that are a bit more like, let's not say bad foods, should we say that, but the higher calorie foods. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that
The
balance of
way
like, look, I don't want to just indulge in whatever I want, and then I just look in the mirror and I hate the way that I look, and I feel like shit as well.
the devil is in the dose, isn't it? You know, it's
Everything.
like I love cheesecake more than anything in the world, right? But I like a slice of cheesecake, not the whole fucking thing,
Yeah,
right? The way I see it as well is it's like you've got this big red button, right? The big red button is when you're going to go, I really don't care. I'm just going to do the shit that I want to do, be it drink the food, drink the alcohol,
yeah,
eat the food. And sometimes you're going to press that button. And it's
yeah.
just the frequency in which you press the button that's going to change your
Exactly,
results.
exactly. If you're not happy with the way you're looking, you cannot afford to be doing that a lot. It's just the harsh reality of things. Like all these people that are saying that you can get shredded and eat all the foods that you love. Well, yes, technically we know that because of, like thermodynamics. Yeah, we know that if we have less calories in come in than our body has, we're going to lose body fat. But you try eating a full freaking Domino's pizza and then like one trying to like balance the week out with it, but also trying to balance hunger, like it ain't going to last long at all. So
Not at all.
there are going to have to be sacrifices, and I think some people think it's going to be a lot easier than it actually is. Pulling back and saying no to things. I don't know if it's a social thing that we've got, or if it's just the discipline thing, or who knows what causes people to not want to do this, even though they want to change. Does that make sense?
I get what you mean, especially from the social side of things. I think people, they go to like a restaurant or something, they've not made a decision before they get there. So immediately they think, well, I need to get the heaviest thing on the menu because that's what I always do and that's what everybody else is doing. It's like,
Yeah,
other things on the menu taste good
yeah,
and you would equally enjoy them and you could go out, socialize, still eat out, still even have a drink with that and still stay within your sort of calorie budget for the whole period.
yeah.
It's just what I say to clients is you can eat anything, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean eat everything.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is. It's like cost versus reward, isn't it?
Mhm.
I always say to them as well, you've got to weigh it up. So you're going to go out for a meal and you want to go and have that massive burger and chips and a pint. Okay, cool. You got to weigh it up and go, right, okay, can I make this fit within my goal? Yeah, right, cool. Is it going to be worth you having? Are you going to feel really good for having it? Yeah, cool. On the flip side is would it fit? No. Right, okay, well, are you still going to have it though? If it's going to have a detrimental effect, like it's going to take you over your calories, potentially knocks you into a surplus, etc., slows things down. I don't know, maybe gives you a bit of IBS or whatever it is, because some people don't digest that kind of thing. So it's just weighing it up, all these balance, these things, these positives and negatives, and you make that decision. You kind of have to own it as well.
100%. And I think the thing that's really hard for people is, especially if it's your first diet, you're not going to be dieting on a huge amount of calories, right? Like if you're a smaller guy, you're not very active. I coach a woman who's like 52 kilos, right? And I'm brutally honest. I'm like, look, this is not going to be great. Yes, it is all relative to an extent, but you are not going to be able to have much flexibility, because if you do, you are not eating for the rest of the day. Like a meal out in a restaurant, you know, 1,200 calories if we're being
Yeah,
generous.
average 1,200, probably, I'd say.
Yeah, and that's one course without a drink. We're being generous,
Hmm.
right? So it's like if you're for some people, they are going to need to go on 1,200 calories or below, right? Or close to, even if they're a dude. So it's like, yeah, you can have some flexibility, but you've also got to have some realism at the same time.
Mate, 100%. Like, I've had girls in the past, 49, 48 kilos, and like 1,300 wasn't a deficit, 1,200 wasn't a deficit, 1,100 was zero point 0.2 a week. So we had to push her to 1,000 calories, which you get people freaking out, like, oh my God, that's like, you can't do that, you can't eat that, that's ridiculous. And these coaches that are telling you that have you seen the ones that advertise no 1,200 calorie diets?
Gimps,
They obviously just don't
absolute
understand.
gimps.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously don't understand anything. But so her, she was like 4'10", 48 kilos. She had an office job. A thousand calories a day was a deficit for her. And it wasn't fun because although she didn't have a big appetite, luckily, exactly what you just said, her flexibility was zero. Like I said, like for us to get a decent amount of fiber in and protein and things to actually make you function well to be able to get this diet done, you are only going to really have flexibility after the diet, really. If you choose to have some flexibility within it, you're probably going to suffer a little bit with hunger and all that kind of stuff. And again, it's that choice.
Hormonally as well, yeah.
Exactly, mate, exactly. Which is why we kind of wanted to just get it done so that we could bring fats up and calories up and just sort her out. So it is all relative and it's all kind of like you can't make an informed decision and go in 1,200 calories. You can't go on that because I've had 100 kilo guys that aren't losing weight on 1,800 calories. We had to go to about 17, 16, and then the weight started coming at a good rate. You just don't know what you're dealing with until you actually deal with people individually.
100%. Like anyone who deals in absolutes is a complete and utter gimp,
Like
right?
Anakin,
Literally.
I just
But
thought
it's
Star
like,
Wars as soon as you said that, so sorry.
no, I got it. It's just like there are no hard and fast rules, and for some people, it's gonna suck a bit more than others, right? Like you say, if you have to go to 1,000 calories, I don't want to. For me, I don't want to put anyone on
No,
less than 3,000 calories.
it's not
I'd
nice
love to
for
give
us to
you as
give
much
people low
food as
food.
possible,
Yeah.
but they also want to achieve the goals that they come to you for, and it's like, you're doing that client a disservice if you say to them, yeah, or you're not even saying it to them. I really should be on 1,000 calories, but I'm going to put you on 1,500 so that you like me. It's
Yeah.
like,
And you're not seeing any
oh,
results. And also the one that annoys me is the fuel your body
they've got
guys.
body fat.
Yeah. Like we can fuel the body, but they ain't going to change much. And they want to change. So we have to push the body a bit. Like it's not unhealthy to push the body a bit. Like it's not unhealthy. Like
Unhealthy to be overweight.
it's unhealthy to be overweight, and you realize that like again it's all context. Like if their calories are all coming from 95% nutrient dense foods, yeah, they're getting the sleep, they're getting the protein, they're getting the resistance training, they're doing the cardio, they're doing all of the healthy stuff, they will see results. They will see results because we can't fuel the body to change like that because you're fueling the body for a race or an MMA fight or a game of football. That's different. But aesthetics to get lean, and we're talking like, let's say, photo shoot lean here, you are going to have to push to a place that is pretty uncomfortable for quite a while. And that's just the harsh reality of it. And sometimes a lot of the battle, as you know as well, is that mental side of things as well. Like realizing that you can tolerate more than you actually think, especially when it comes to hunger. We're
Mhm.
so spoilt in this day and age with having food around us, like at the drop of a hat, that I think most people feel any slight tinge of hunger and they just run to food. I need to eat. Oh my God, I gotta eat. I gotta eat. Okay. It'll pass. Get a Pepsi Max down your neck. It'll be right.
What people also do is they associate calories with hunger.
Hmm.
And as much as they will be related to a degree, like if you're on more calories, you're going to be able to eat more food. I had a client last week who he was away with work for a conference, right? And he's very, very routine. He will normally eat the same meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So he hits his calories, he's coming down in weight. He was away for this conference, right, where they're going out to like steak houses and whatnot for their evening meal, likely having a drink, a dessert, and so on. And I asked him, I was like, so dude, what do you want to get from this week? Right. And he was like, I still want to lose body fat. So I was like, okay, you're going to be out every evening, right? And he was like, yeah. And he was also seeing some family. And I said, okay. So it's also an American guy. So I said, look, we're looking realistically 1,500 calories minimum in the evening,
Hmm.
right? So if you're wanting to be in a deficit, we're going to have to pull back your breakfast and lunch so that we've got more calories in the evening because it's going to be more calorie dense. And initially, he was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to manage with this. And was quite concerned because we pulled the calories down. Obviously, went over it together, went over like options and whatever that he could put there. And then he came back to me after it was like, fucking hell, I've actually really surprised myself here at how much easier it actually was because I was able to have this food. The food still tastes good. I was really full. Then I was able to enjoy my evening and I still made progress. Do you know what I
Nice.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And like you say, until you kind of tested yourself, you only know what you know, I suppose, don't you? So you've got to go though. But I think the biggest thing with the hunger is like just stop reacting when you feel a little bit of a hunger pang. You're going to feel hunger at some point, and obviously the harder you push it, the harder the hunger could be. And that's like another thing as well. Like when we say aggressive, it doesn't mean that it's like an absolute, like you said before. Like it's not like regardless of like sleep, hunger, energy levels, and all that, we just disregard it and we keep pushing and we keep pushing, keep pushing, and keep pushing. You can pull back and pull back in again. You can jump in and jump out. So, for example, that's why we use like refeed days. And if anybody listening doesn't know what a refeed day is, it's just generally a calorie day with generally right more carbohydrates. Um, you could basically just give them one or two higher days, push back in. So you just offset the hunger a little bit, and you just again on that person to person, you just pull or push, pull or push. How are they feeling? How are they reacting? It's not just about going, I'm all in for 8 weeks, regardless of how I'm feeling, just driving myself into the ground. Yes, it'll be tough, but you can strategically go, all right, okay, this day next week I'm going to take an extra 700 calories. Next day I'm going to do it. Right, okay, I'm going to push back in now. Yeah. So it doesn't have to just be all one go all the time. Push, 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 push.
Like you can change direction, and I mean, this is why you need to work with the individual and just see what works for them. Because I look at me and I've played around with refeeds when I did them in my last diet where calories were still quite high and I felt pretty good. When I was lean, adding refeeds made it worse because it
Yeah,
made me hungrier. So for me, I was like, I'd rather just suffer a little bit more
push. Yeah.
because it made it harder for me. But for other people, it takes the edge right off, and they're great with that. For me, I was
It
like,
was
nah.
it was just it was psychologically for me. I just needed it.
Mhm.
So like I would just be like on the refeed day, I'd be like, yeah, I'll enjoy having like that day, obviously, and it will probably just make me feel like the next day, oh, I'm back to diet calories. But psychologically, I would look forward to that day. Does that make sense? So it would
Yeah,
make me
yeah.
push hard to know that I'm getting a bit of a reward in terms of I'm getting a day where I'm not going to feel as hungry, which was just like heavenly. And then I could push again for another, let's say till the next kilo black bracket or something, then have another one. So it was kind of like those mini kind of little rewards that would egg me on. I'm a bit like a cat with a, uh, I just desperately
Dog with a
needed that.
bone in it.
Yeah, but again, like you say, it works different ways. That spurred me on, but for you, it might have been a bit more of a distraction. You said, I just want to push through. It's a case by case thing.
Literally, it's just seeing, like, you fuck around and you find out.
Yeah,
It all leads to the same outcome. It's
exactly.
like,
Mate.
let's just see what happens, you
Exactly.
know? But anyway, nice one for coming on, dude. Really,
Anytime,
really
mate.
appreciate it. I won't take any more of your time. So, legend for that, dude.
Anytime, mate. Perfect.